Interpretation Todorova. Welcome back to my YouTube channel, guys. I am learning how to do those lives. So thank you for your patience. In today's video, we are going to answer a question, particularly question that asked me Tima. Hi Tima, I decided to do this live uh, right before I enter into an interview that I should be in. What is a mock oral interpreting session? I have done quite a lot of those, and Tima says, hello, a company contacted me and they told me that they can do more mock oral interpreting session before they hire me. What this mean? Does it mean that I'm gonna record myself interpreting? Or someone will be there while I interpret? What is a mock interpreting session? I know that in the beginning, I'm gonna really respond to this video as fast as I can and disconnect. So, what is a mock interpreting session? Uh, why they call it mock or sample of interpreting session? There is quite some of those in my YouTube channel called sample interpreting sessions. Usually, when a company say they're gonna do mock, there is two ways they do this. One, they play a recording for you in English, where you have one person speaking things in English, and then you have to only interpret to the target language, uh, which is usually recorded. Normally, those type of sets are done in English language. So they would tell you, get ready, now we're gonna plug the recording, and there in the recording will be, hello, can you provide me this? For example, usually the scenarios of those mock sessions are medical interpreting, where you have to interpret what is your name and how old are you, and I don't know, give me your phone number, confirm your ID number, your birthday, your address. So, and then, oh, the address is 25375 East Banner Street, apartment 5. And you do not have repetitions in this type of mock sets where the provider use a recording that is only in English and you can only interpret towards the target language, and number two, you cannot ask for repetitions. So if it's a pre-recorded mock, it's kind of disadvantage for the interpreter that is being tested, because they cannot ask for clarification, they cannot ask for repetitions, they cannot ask for clarifications. On one side is bad, on the other side is good. Basically, your responses would be recorded, and then somebody will review this mock session and check how precisely you take notes, if you take correct the phone number, if you take correctly the address or the name of the person, and so on. Uh, and those are pretty, I don't want to say easy, but the matter of the fact is that it's a machine and you do not have attention of two people monitoring you. I think this is the easiest version if you want to know. Usually those mock tests include, number one is scenario where the doctor would say something to the patient. And if it's only in English, the patient would respond in English and you have to interpret only versus one language. When it's pre-recorded, you usually have a doctor reading something to someone or anyone saying something to someone, and you only interpret versus the target language. The first portion is just scenarios like dentist, OBGYN, what you have, what you don't have. And then you have vocabulary. This again, pre-recorded vocabulary, somebody reads words for you. This is something like the test I have created. You could see them, Tima, or anybody else that is watching. There is a vocabulary, and this vocabulary is usually you have somebody read the words in English and you have 3 seconds to say them in, for example, Spanish. For example, hysterectomy, 1, 2, 3, hysterectomia, I don't know, vasectomy. and then the recording goes. So I will give you example. I just record actually a videos mock example of bilingual, but it was Bulgarian. Sorry, I already moved it, but let's say leg, appointment, numb, painkiller, headache. You see, when it's pre-recorded, the test goes. If it comes to your mind, you could say it. If it doesn't, it's done. So there is some disadvantages if the mock is pre-recorded and if it's in English versus the target language, whatever is your language combination. The second type of mock is called live, and I think this test have again advantages, disadvantages. How is this test structured? You have three people on the call, you, one person that speak English, and one other person who is gonna speak your target language, whatever is this. Could be Spanish, Bulgarian, any other language besides the English. How the mock test here works. You're gonna have the person in English reading you the rules of the test. For example, this is gonna be a doctor-patient scenario, interpret both languages, vice versa. Which mean in this test scenario, you're gonna have the person reading something in English to the patient. For example, hello, good morning, Maria. How are you feeling today? And Maria would respond in Spanish, hola, doctor. Hoy tengo un mal de cabeza terrible. And then for you as an interpreter, you have to fully work as an interpreter. You have to say, hola María, ¿cómo estás? ¿Cómo tal hoy? And then Maria responds, oh, yo tengo mal de cabeza. And you as an interpreter, doctor, I have a severe headache today. This is exactly what you have to do exactly as you interpret. The pressure here is a little bit bigger because there is two people listening to you live, and you already know one of the person speaks probably better than you Spanish or perfect English and perfect Spanish, and this brings a lot of tensions for you as an interpreter to do this test. It's kind of stressful, it's scary, but in this type of scenario, if they read a big portion of the text, you could say, excuse me, this is the interpreter speaking, please use short sentences to assure accuracy. So you can manage the session, number one. Number two, if you do not understand something or you do not hear, you could say, this is the interpreter speaking, interpreter need repetition. This is the interpreter speaking, interpreter need a clarification. So it's more tense, it's more stressful. However, it gives you more options. If you do not hear properly, you can ask for repetition, clarification, which makes this real life mock test also helps you to perform better. Once again, the mock test where you have two people scanning you live, it's again a good thing for you. I repeat, because you can use all the statements. You can ask, interpreter needs the patient to repeat, please doctor hold on, interpreter speaking. And then you say, oh Maria, ripete per favor, and so on. So you have a full range of flexibility or show professionalism when you interact with the representative of the mock test. And once again, there is gonna be scenario. Usually they give you two scenarios. Depends on the clients of the company. They would normally give me one banking and one medical. That's how they do it. Scenarios is where you have doctor patient and you the interpreter, and second scenarios is where you have bank representative and you the interpreter, and they will let you know in advance what type of scenarios you're gonna interpret for, and then you just do consecutive. And then the second portion is if it's live mock where there is two people on the line, you are going to have vocabulary. Vocabulary would be first portion 20 words in English. If you do not know the word in English, the positive thing about the mock live test is that you can say what the word means. For example, partial hysterectomy. Hysterectomy is removal of a female reproductive organ. Partial, it means partially removing of a female reproductive organs. Sometimes in those mock tests, they say the word in English and you have to say what the word means. in the both languages. Let's say they said, for example, ojos in English, in Espanol, and then you have to say what means ojos. Ojos es parte del cuerpo que ayuda a la persona de escuchar, de mirar y tal. So sometimes they just want to hear you speaking the language. So sometimes they said a word, describe it. I don't know, upper endoscopy. What is this? Sometimes they want you to describe the words in English. So let's say upper endoscopy is a procedure to observe the upper tract, digestive tract, with the help of a scope. So sometimes they will give you these words in English and they want you to describe what is it. For example, tooth extraction. It's a removing of a tooth with the help of dentist or anesthesia or whatnot. You just can give it a simple 5 words description of it. And then you have the second portion could be in the target language, the same with words. Let's say that the target language is Spanish and I want you to tell me mal de cabeza. You can use another word, let's say headache. Mal de cabeza es condición en cual una persona siente malor en la cabeza, or you can describe what is it. And then the third type of mock test is when they give you the words in English and you have to say it in Spanish. Let's say mano, hand, pulgar, it's a finger. So you have from English versus the Spanish. And the second version of the mock test could be from Spanish into English. They say a word in Spanish, let's say, I don't know, Rio, it's a river, albro, tree, niños, children. So let's repeat how mock tests are structured. We have scenarios, usually it's one medical, one financial or banking, or it could be insurance, it could be anything different. Usually sometimes it's just medical, one scenario, but usually it's 10 to 15 phrases, it's very short. Number 2, vocabulary. Vocabulary could be only English and you say the meaning, only target language and you say the meaning. Number 3, it could be bilingual vocabulary where you have English or target language and you have to say towards the second language or from the second language versus English. And then I had one company do so-called memory retention test, which was included in the mock test. Memory retention test, it's rarely used. I had few clients that did this for me. Memory retention test is usually they would read about half a page of a text for you and then in English, and then they can ask you 5 questions about this text. Hack what to do if you're gonna have a memory retention text written to you. I would normally write the names, places, addresses, times, and phone numbers. And dates. For example, instead of Wednesday, she went Friday because she had a car accident. They would usually ask you for a factual information. And then you just note take during this memory retention test. And I think that's about what is a mock oral interpreting session. Usually all the company does that. This was for you, Tima. You just got me while I was recording another videos. I'm gonna thank you guys for being here. This is how mock oral interpreting tests or sessions are structured. I hope this video was useful for you, and I hope you don't forget to press like, share, subscribe. Thank you for being here. Bye-bye. You didn't ask me any questions. Let me see if you ask me questions. Nobody asked me no questions. Thank you guys for being here.